A reading from the book of Leviticus. The Lord said to Moses, "These are the festivals of the Lord, which you shall celebrate at their proper time with the sacred assembly. The Passover of the Lord falls on the 14th day of the first month at the evening twilight. The 15th day of this month is the Lord's feast of unleavened bread. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first of these days you shall hold a sacred assembly and do no sort of work. On each of the 7 days you shall offer an oblation to the Lord. Then on the 7th day you shall again hold a sacred assembly and do no sort of work." The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the children of Israel and tell them, when you come into the land which I am giving you and reap your harvest, you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, who shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, that it may be acceptable for you. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest shall do this. Beginning with the day after the Sabbath, the day on which you bring the wave offering sheaf, you shall count 7 full weeks, and then on the day after the 7th week, the 50th day, you shall present the new cereal offering to the Lord. The 10th of this 7th month is the Day of Atonement, when you shall hold a sacred assembly and mortify yourselves and offer an oblation to the Lord. The 50th day of this 7th month is the Lord's Feast of Booths, which shall continue for 7 days. On the first day there shall be a sacred assembly, and you shall do no sort of work. For 7 days you shall offer an oblation to the Lord, and on the 8th day you shall again hold a sacred assembly and offer an oblation to the Lord. On that solemn closing you shall do no sort of work. These, therefore, are the festivals of the Lord, on which you shall proclaim a sacred assembly and offer as an oblation to the Lord burnt offerings and cereal offerings, sacrifices and libations, as prescribed for each day." The word of the Lord. Sing with joy to God our help. Sing with joy to God our help. Take up a melody and sound the timbrel, the pleasant harp and the lyre. Blow the trumpet at the new moon, at the full moon on our solemn feast. Sing with joy to God our help. For it is a statute in Israel, an ordinance of the God of Jacob, who made it a decree for Joseph when he came forth from the land of Egypt. Sing with joy to God our help. There shall be no strange God among you, nor shall you worship any alien god. I am the Lord your God, who led you forth from the land of Egypt. Sing with joy to God our help. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. The word of the Lord remains forever. This is the word that has been proclaimed to you. Alleluia.
Alleluia. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus came to his native place and taught the people in their synagogue. They were astonished and said, "Where did this man get such wisdom and mighty deeds? Is he not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother named Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Are not his sisters all with us? Where did this man get all this? and they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his native place and in his own house." And he did not work many mighty deeds there because of their lack of faith. The gospel of the Lord. I'm kind of amazed at many of the stories in the Gospels, but this one's particularly amazing because it's a negative story. He did not work many mighty deeds there because of their lack of faith. And I'm thinking, why would Matthew kind of tell us what happened at Nazareth, his hometown, and it's all negative? I think the word lack of faith is really kind of a key, because the bulk of this passage is about the reasons why they shouldn't believe in Jesus. They shouldn't receive his wisdom. They shouldn't appreciate his mighty works of power. Lack of faith. It makes me think of the word lack of faith. When Matthew uses that word, it's all about hostility. Not the absence of something, but the presence of hostility for Jesus, against Jesus, in opposition to Jesus. It's used, for example, again, by the Pharisees, who were antagonistic, to say the least. That's a light statement. When he teaches and rebukes the apostles, he says, "O men of little faith." There it's positive. They have faith, but just a teeny weeny bit, a little. If you had faith like a mustard seed, he says you could throw this mountain into the ocean. So there's something that Matthew wants us to know about faith and this openness to Jesus Christ, because he is the source of wisdom. He is the source of faith. He comes to restore and transform faith so that we may know the love of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. That's a brand new revelation in the history of ancient Israel. It's a brand new unfolding and opening up of Trinitarian life, which is pretty much invisible because it's transcendent. So when he goes there and he teaches with wisdom and mighty deeds, Matthew doesn't tell us what the mighty deeds are in the synagogue, but we know from other passages in Mark and so on, he did exorcisms in synagogues. He did physical healings and things like that. And they're seeing all this in Nazareth, and they're going, "Who's this dude? We know his dad, the carpenter. We see all of his cousins here, his extended family." That's what they mean by brothers and sisters. It's cousins. Like, we got this, and who is he to tell us this? So that's one way. Or, "Man, get out of here. You're nobody." That's the hostility. That's the lack of faith or the a-religious. It's against him. Where does that leave us today, this negative teaching? Well, it's a warning. Sometimes Jesus asks us to do things that go against our own grain. He asks us to forgive. And we know how many times, right? It's not 77 times 7. We forgive until we don't have to forgive anymore, until the thing is resolved. Then, the next step after that is to pray for that person who deeply hurt you to prosper. Oh, that's got to be supernatural faith. We don't do that à la nature. We don't do that on our own. So this is the invitation that I see from Gospel of Matthew today, for us to enter into, to receive Jesus as openly and as receptively as we can, so that he can empower us to forgive, and that we don't slip into, who is Jesus to say I have to fast on Fridays through the church? Who is he that I have to forgive this one? No way. I'm never going to forgive you. I'm never forgiven that person. Gosh. That's a stinger. And that's where the faith, the power, which is what faith is, to believe in God, that his words are true, that his kindness and mercy are available for us, and that those powerful words can push us over the tilt edge to forgive. We can start by wanting to forgive. So resisting the I don't want to forgive part. We can say, I want to forgive. Honestly, I do. Yes, my mouth is saying yes, but my heart is saying no. That's a great place. That's good. That's real. We take that to the Eucharist, and he goes like that. He helps us go like that. Let's try that. It's so amazing to come to Jesus as if he were here historically. It's the transformed, resurrected Lord, way better than the historical Jesus, so to speak, because he's not limited to time and space. And he's going to be really fully present. Let's take that to him, who will show up as he already has in this proclamation. May Jesus Christ be praised.